Hello, Ophelia, or should I say a different name? I will stick with Ophelia. See, I could have asked you this just a moment before, because Ophelia is your artist name, and
Right.
I was actually quite surprised. There was a Wikipedia entry, and I was like, wow, she has a Wikipedia entry. But clever you
Oh,
linked to Ophelia. So I mean, that's a good idea. Um, so, can you please, first of all, thank you for your time today, and thank you for dealing with my inability to connect with you. But
no worries.
yeah, you graciously, we will look over that. Can you please introduce yourself and say who you are, um, what kind of music you're doing, and maybe why you're doing it, and where you're coming from music wise? So just introduce
Okay.
yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, so Ophelia is a name. I probably chose it back in 2006 is probably how long I've been using it. Um, my name is Deborah Gale White. I'm originally from Rock, West Virginia, so I'm from a fairly rural area. I've lived all over. Went to school at Berklee in Boston. Lived in New York. Lived in San Francisco. Now I'm in LA, and that whole time, I guess what happened was I was a singer songwriter, and I really didn't like playing piano and singing because I just didn't like the vibe. And so I got into electronic music because I can make everything myself. I don't really work well in bands. I've never been in a band per se. I'm an only child. I'm a
Oh,
pianist.
okay.
Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I got really into electronic music when I went to Burning Man and heard like the Bay Area kind of like electronic music, and so I moved out to California, and and then from there I just started producing my own music. I started DJing, and I just started performing like all of my solo tracks that I produce, and I just play to a backing track. And yeah, and I think part of where I come from musically is I definitely want it to be enjoyable. You know, I there's something about there's something about DJing that I really enjoy, and there's something about performance I really enjoy, and I think they're two separate things.
Hmm.
And I like to do both because of like what they represent. And so I think electronic music just made that available to me. You know, I could DJ it, stand behind a booth, just stand there and dance, or I could actually perform it, sing it, be on a stage, you know, and where people have to look at me, which is weird.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
for me, it's like, oh, it's like, look at me, I have something to say, versus being a DJ. It's like, I'm here, I'm at your service, you
Hmm.
know. So I get to balance the two with electronic music without having to deal with a bunch of bandmates.
Okay. Yeah, I will not hold it against you with the bandmates, but we're gonna circle back to this later. The one thing I just heard is when you are a DJing, I understand, you're a little bit removed because you're behind your how you say, your spin tables and stuff, and you're making your music, so you're a little bit away, but you're at the service of a people. But when you are performing as a solo artist, you're also at the service of the people. I mean, usually the people come, or have paid, or come to a show and want to see you, or if you are, whatever, if you're opening for the other act or something. So my point is just you're also doing some servicing here. It's not like, I get a little bit the distinction between something. One is a little bit more removed, and you kind of are reading the crowd, and now we're dancing, or now we need a break or something. But isn't it a little bit similar to when you're doing music, because you're also reading the crowd, and no, okay, so.
No, no, because there's a stage and your eyes are supposed to be looking at it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you're performing, the whole idea is like, you know, most people in a crowd at a concert are looking forward at the stage.
Hmm.
In a nightclub, no one's really looking
Okay,
at the
okay, okay, yeah, no,
DJ.
okay, yeah, you got, okay, yeah,
So
nobody is,
the energy exchange is very different.
okay, no, you got a
Like
point.
as
No,
the
I got it.
DJ, you get to look at everybody else. It's the complete
Mm-hmm.
opposite experience where you get to look at the stage, which is the dance floor, and you get to see people having fun or interacting, you know? And when you're
Yeah.
on stage, you can't see anything for the lights,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just your, you know, your performance that people are feeding off of.
No, no, I got it. I got it. You're right. It's kind of reversed because you are for once, as a solo performer, you perform, and on the other thing, you watch the people, how your tracks perform, and then you kind of guide the people maybe to dance more or to do the relaxing and stuff. And so, okay, no, you got, okay, I got it. I got it. Because first of all, it was, both is kind of a performance art, but it's very different performance art, So, okay, got it, got it. And do you really, because, for me, there's a difference. I have trouble that I have to call myself a DJ because I am a DJ, but I'm playing, in my radio show, I'm playing music from other people, and I don't, overlay things or mix something in or something. So I'm a DJ, but not a club DJ. For me, there's a distinction between that and I'm guess you are more a club DJ, that you kind of get some sounds and then you mix things in, and because this is more the performance aspect. You make something live, new, on the fly, and I just play the track like it is and say something. Okay, this now you heard this band and blah blah blah, and the next band is this and that and blah blah blah. I don't alter the material. You do, right? So that's you are different. You're this kind of DJ that you are altering the tracks while you play them, right?
Yeah, club DJ.
Yeah. Okay. See, this good club DJ is a good distinction because I have really trouble with people that people say, oh, I'm a DJ. I am in a way, but I'm just I'm not a DJ. I'm just playing, I hit play and then the song comes and then I say something and which is not really, it's more like a presenter, you could say, like
radio DJ.
Yeah. Or if you, radio DJ. But I got asked just by another guy, oh, send me some of your shows. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just, playing the songs one after another in a row and say something. It's not like I know other DJs who, like you now, mix things up and really work with the material. I'm just presenting as is. You see, this is where. Anyway, that's why I always have trouble if somebody calls me a DJ because, like we talked about now, we have different expectations with DJing. I'm not a DJ in this regard.
It's an antiquated term. I mean, just like with record labels that are called records, I have an issue with that. Like it's someone makes a new record label and it's called so and so records, and I'm like, unless I'm making vinyl, I don't know, records. I mean, it's cool, but yeah.
Yeah, you can say the same with I talk with a lot of artists, and then our new EP is coming out, or the new album, or something, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, mostly it's just digital, and you just put it out, and
you just decided 5 songs, it's not like extended play on the back of a vinyl, yeah.
Exactly. I remember these days, when you bought a single, and then there was the song you bought, and then there was a backtrack, and there was always, because it had 2 sides, so there needed to be something on it, the B-sides, the famous B-sides.
The B-sides, yeah. Might as well put something on there. We paid for the record.
Exactly, and today you see like, oh, this EP is our B-sides. It's kind of like, okay, it's. Anyway, this is not our main talk, but yeah, it's just interesting that we in this regard we see it through the same. So you traveled around quite a bit. You said in your introduction. I mean, I lived only for 1 year in the United States, and for United States people, Americans, it's not so
Mm-hmm.
unusual to travel. I think the Europeans are more like, I was born here, I'm gonna die here, and this is my place. So you are more, living more in the moment and all over the place. I read somewhere a statistic, it's an old statistic, that the Americans change their city at, about 7 times in their lifetime. And of course some stay wherever we stay, and some leave like you. Kind of, it seems like every few years you're gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It was just sorry. It was just an observation.
No, I was going to say, yeah, I think I've already hit my 7.
Oh, okay. So you have to stay now. Stay, because otherwise my
I think
statistic wouldn't
so.
work anymore. My statistic needs to be right. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can be the exception of a rule. I allow you this.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I wanted to say something. Yeah, let's talk about your music.
Mm.
And in preparation, I listened to some of your songs, and of course, I feel they're quite experimental. Um, Hard to define genre-wise, and even if I know it's a really silly question, what would you kind of call it? What would you kind of categorize it? What you fall into music-wise?
I mean, I guess I'm technically like a producer in the sense that like I can do multiple genres, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think depending on like the music I have out now, definitely it's electronic. I think there's some industrial in some of it just because of the synths that I use or like the rhythms. But it's probably like a mix of different like electronic genres. Like I have a technical drum and bass track, right? I have definitely some synth. I think some synth wave stuff just because I lean heavy on the synth.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I change the drums, ooh, we got another genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't specifically try to fall into a certain genre. Like, I just make some stuff. I'm like, oh, this one sounds, kind of like Apex Twin a little bit, or like this one, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what that sounds like. So I guess it's kind of that genre. But when I sing on tracks, then it becomes, I think, more of like the synth. I've even heard like synth pop for like some of the ones that I sing on, and then the ones that are more instrumental, I think I kind of go out there and I kind of experiment with some drums and synth, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, I think, I got the feeling it's a really silly question, to
Mm-hmm.
categorize it and to put it in a genre. But on the other hand, as I told you, I'm a radio DJ, like we know now, and sometimes, of course, it's quite helpful if I have a categorization, because otherwise people would send me a lot of music, and
Yeah.
I don't want every kind of music. I try to be open minded, but in a
Mm-hmm.
way, if I get everything in, then I'm nothing. Then it's kind of like it's with mainstream. If you take whatever comes along, then you're nothing. So that's why I always, not always. In your case, it's kind of hard for me to define what it actually is, and I also. I listened to your collaboration things. You sent me the Crandall mix that's currently in my playlist, and that's different from the other ones. And you have another mix, another collaboration in there. I saw, and it also sounds different. Of course, this is the bands kind of putting in their spin on things, and it's kind of like. Yeah, you're all over the place. It's really, and that's a good thing. I this is exactly what I like on music. There is no right or wrong. There's just what you like and what you don't like. You don't have to be too specific. But then again, it makes it harder for your to cater to some certain audiences. That's the other part of it. So I there was not much to find about you, but what I found about you was that you also have a label or this 27 club thing where you make parties, but this is also a label, your own label. I take it. So
Yeah.
can you say something about this? Maybe where do you come from, the 27 club, or and how do you approach this thing, being your
Yeah.
own label?
For sure. Yeah, like I needed I've had 27 Club probably for probably like 7 years now. And I consider it just like my music company. Because I originally wanted to have a record label, which it is a record label. I wanted to release other artists, but I realized that I didn't really get along with other artists.
What's the problem with you? We're going to talk about this in a moment, but what's the
Yeah,
problem with you?
I think there's a problem with me. I was I was talking about this on that app Clubhouse that everyone's on, and someone's like, well, it's just you, or it's a problem with you. I'm like, well, I believe that, and I honestly agree. But I kind of had to decide, like, well, I was looking just to have a label to put out tracks when I produce, right? So it's like I find someone, I want to produce with them or work with them, I put out the everything, right? Or, if ever I get a deal, I can be just like an imprint, I was a music business major at Berklee, so I have all of the business built out. Publishing, like I'm all trademarked, copyright, licensing. That's all there. The machine is there. And then I just plug into it, right? When I have a project or something that I'm working on. And in LA, I started to do parties and party promotion. So I just kind of leaned on 27 Club for that as well. So that's the 27 Club that you see, and it's kind of like my company that I do everything out of creatively. And yeah.
So it's basically just whatever you need it to be, it is kind of.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like it's a computer. You know what I mean? It's like I needed to do this, I needed to do that. Yeah, that's what I do everything through, and it's kind of like my entity. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. You are deliberately solo because you said yourself you don't deal well with and please remember, whenever I ask you something wrong or something you don't want to answer, just don't answer it.
Yeah.
But as you kind of talked about it so openly, I think we can talk about it a little bit. So you started your label and you realized you don't work so well with others, so it's basically just for you, or with this music company, it's putting out only your music, and you also started your music. I always have a question when I talk with a solo artist, because the benefits of being in a band or in a duo or a trio or whatever is you have some other people who kind of stop you to and say, the music is done now, because usually, music is just a snapshot in time of this is what the track like it is right now. But as you know, with Berklee major in your background, you can always, I don't know, add a layer there and a chorus there and something. Music is never finished. It's just a work in progress, kind of frozen in time. And then you say, okay, this is it. When you're alone, this is really tough to get to the point to kind of say, okay, this track is done, because you get my drift, because you kind of can get on like, oh, could I do? Or you let it lie for 2 weeks and then listen to it again later and see, does it still work? Does it has a magic? So, okay, maybe let's have a real question so that I'm not just babbling along. How do you get on your own to a place where you say this song is done. This is now fine and ready for release or just for mixing and mastering. And how do you decide? Okay, that's it. I'm leaving it like that.
I do play it for other people.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, yeah. So like I have people that like constantly like, what do you think? Is it done? And then if someone's like, yeah, that's it, or even if I feel like the time's just over, like the clock's still running, like the alarm went off, but it's still running. And since it, like you say, I'm solo, it's my own game show, so I can keep trying to answer the questions.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, sometimes
I'll try to just cut it off, even though I don't want to. Like I implement my own discipline, or at least I try to, like knowing that is a pitfall, right? Going back to the band thing, I guess I would like to have a band. It's just like I've never found anyone that I felt like I would want to work with, or make like a long-term investment with. Like, let me say this, and I don't mean to be a feminist, but like if I was a dude, I think it'd be a lot different. I'd have some guys and we'd be hanging out, we'd be working on music, and it would just form into what it is. I think being a female, it's like way different,
okay.
Just because like I don't, it's harder to get into a band, or like not end up sleeping with the whole band, or like,
okay.
you
don't have to do that. I'm of
you
course
don't have to, but like things happen, right? So there's like this weird evolution that is not that didn't naturally happen to me, and I kind of wondered why, but then again, when it comes to me, like, I have to have like money and work, I'm a computer programmer, and I work alone, and I don't I pick my own clients. I technically don't have I'm a consultant, so everything I do is kind of like that solo thing. And I just have a way that like I make it work, and then I just outsource everything. And because I don't have an ongoing relationship, I can kind of pick and choose, like, hey, I'm going to talk to these people and like have them look at my stuff. I can be kind of ad hoc. So that's basically been my approach. Whether or not it's great or right or the best thing, that's up for grabs. But it's just how I operate.
Like I said, I think there is no right or wrong. It's just something that works for you and that doesn't work for you. And I get it now. You're, of course, I don't know you that well. We just get to know. But saying something from the male perspective, sometimes, of course, it's really tough because you are a tough businesswoman, I mean, you are self-sufficient and stuff, and a lot of males I know, they kind of rather have somebody who's a little bit, I need your help. Can you help? Can you fiddle some knobs over here and stuff? And so we are a little bit afraid of stronger women. That's a generalization. Of course, I don't know your environment, but as I see you now and as I get the feeling, you kind of, what you want. And sometimes men are kind of, this is also a stereotype, but they want to lead and they want to kind of, I'm going to show you the way, little one, I'm going to show you how it is.
Yeah, let me do, no, let me, I got this. Yeah, I mean.
I opened the pickle jar for you.
Exactly. And I didn't really realize it until, I would even say recently, when I was like, the Corona times, we all have this time to reflect, right? And I was trying to look back on like I'm like, why am I here? How did it happen this way? And then I realized, I'm like, oh, that this could be a reason, is because I am physically female, and things have been different for me, because of that. And I had to pick a different path to get to where I wanted to go and do it on my terms,
Yep.
And so again, it might not be ideal, but it's working out pretty well, and like I said, because I know how to put things together, like I can just outsource everything that I need, or build it out. And I've worked at record labels. I worked with Clive Davis at J Records. I worked at RCA. I worked at MTV. I saw a lot of stuff work. I had so I feel like I have enough experience from the industry to be like, oh, okay, that's how it is. Okay, like yeah.
Yeah, this is the feeling I get from you too. You know what's going on, and what you need and what you don't need. And so in a way, yeah, I guess sometimes it would be nicer to share the stage with people, because we're going to talk about this as well, or to have somebody to fall back on. But if you don't have it, you're a tough woman. You just can you know what to do. So it's also sometimes it's good that you don't have a whiny bastard like next to you, and you have to kind of, oh man, come drag,
Oh my God, yes.
So
yeah, and that's and here's the other thing about the relationship, right? It's not like, oh, the drummer's late, blah 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 blah. It's like, well, I paid the drummer. If you know what I mean, like if I outsource everything, the relationship's completely different. Like the motivation's different, rather than just being a bunch of young kids in a band, like, oh, like this is how it is. And mind you, there's a lot of females in bands and it works well. And I think again, it really depends on what your strong points are. And my thing is my piano professor at Berklee was also an only child. And he told me, he's like, I see a lot of only child in you, because his wife was only child. They had an only child. And so I think I'm not used to like having, like, other than little friends at school, like I didn't have someone at home. I was just solo, playing the computer on my own all the time, playing piano. So my instruments even solo. So like with guitar people, they can play solo too. So I think that kind of lends to like my musical personality. And then I'm just really technical, so I can produce and engineer. So that takes that fuss out of it, right?
Yeah, as I was just thinking, as you just said, yeah, the downs, because I was thinking, because I have a band too, and but I also have my solo stuff, and where I just do what I want. That's a cool thing, and you struck a nerve here, because the band is kind of for fun. I have no big expectations. When you said, when you outsource, because I heard one song where I'm pretty sure you had somebody playing bass or something, because it sounded really, somebody did something.
That was a sample.
Oh, it was a sample. Okay, because it sounded so
it's a real bass.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point is, and you just kind of made me think of that. It's, yes, if you really want to get something done, have like a solo project, and this is the milestones, this is what I need to get, and and then you mix this, when you master it, I get the sample from there, and then you put it together, and woof, done. But the band, like I realize through you now, is more, it's like a fun thing, It's kind of, I go there, we jam, we jam for 2-3 hours. I don't know what we played. It's gone, but it was fun. It's more like a hangout, like what you said about, just being the boys and the girls. We have also, we are both sexes are there. And so anyway, sorry, we're not talking about me, we're talking about you, but I just wanted to get my reflection, what you just said. And by the way, you have a Farion shirt, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I really like this band, so just needed to say it for the people in the podcast. Cool.
I found it in a trash can in the garbage dumpster outside my apartment on Skid Row.
Oh, who did?
And
who's throwing this away?
And it's a really nice shirt. It's like the embroidered,
Yeah.
And and I listened to Therion in high school, and I was just like, oh my God, there's like a Therion shirt. And, you know, in LA, like there's like the trend of wearing like the metal shirts, you know, like it's a thing. Like, it's like, you can buy them like at the department store, right? Like
and they're
so
already
it's
aged
funny.
and stuff, you know, that they look
Yeah, like
authentic.
the pre-made Metallica shirt or whatever. So I just show up in the Therion shirt, and like, and some people don't even know, and then some people are like, oh, Therion. I was like, yeah, because I do like proggy stuff too.
Anyway, the other thing you just said, I also can attest to that a little bit, that, you know, sometimes with mixed bands, not always, but there's always a little bit sexual tensions and stuff in there. And I had it also the opposite once, that you know, I was playing with a lot of gay guys in a band, and I was kind of pursued. It was fun, actually.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, it was, you know, it was interesting to see, because honestly, I mean, I'm being just honest with you. I'm a man, you know, and so for me, it's really tough sometimes to I cannot be in your shoes. It's not only tough. I cannot really imagine, like you said, how tough it is for you. I'm maybe a little bit a different man, because I have my wife earns more money than me. She has a doctorate. I'm a complete loser. You know, I have only 10th class, but I'm fine with that. You know, I don't need to show off, and I don't need to be better and stronger than my wife or whatever. You know, I'm actually quite happy that she earns more money than me. I know other idiots who kind of would be, oh, no, I have to be the breadwinner. And it's like, are you stupid? You know, I mean, I can lay back a little bit because of my wife, so it's cool, and she really loves her job. So it's not that I'm kind of smooching off her, you know. I'm working as well, of course, but she earns more money. So good for us. I mean, what the fuck? I don't. Anyway, I don't get these macho stereotypic people who are always want to show off and stuff. Fuck them. Anyway, that's just my opinion. And I also played with women in bands, and I know, of course, the sexual tension, but for me it was always like, you know, no, this is not a good idea to get involved, because, you know, when the band breaks up, well, you want to no, don't do that.
It's so classic that it's funny, but again, it's like, you know, I think it's about longevity, and like you say, music is a snapshot in time. So, like, you know, bands don't have to last. You can go through a few.
That's
you
true.
know, they serve their purpose. You know, I'm not adverse to being in a band. You know,
no, I got
that's
that,
something that, like, I wouldn't mind doing. Perhaps it's just never necessarily happened or been something that I want to do. You know, because I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to manage a band. At the same time, if I had the right people, I wouldn't mind.
I think so too, and I think this will come naturally. You know, I mean, the good thing is what you're doing. You're putting out music, so you're kind of showing, okay, guys, guys and girls, people out there. This is what I do. This is what I like, and so people can find you, and then can, oh, I like that, and can we not? And you know, this is kind of the natural approach. Of course, you know, with this stupid Corona going on, it's much tougher to go out and meet people for real. But, you know, we are doing it. We are doing Zoom, and so it's possible to. But yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but it's a far cry from being really bad, you know. I mean, we're also in different time zones and in on different continents, so it's actually quite cool, you know. So we should be happy about that. And just to close this thing, I think you're doing the right thing, because you're just putting things out, and you make yourself findable, and you're approachable, and, you know, people can get in touch with you, and they know, you know, okay, this is the music I like, so you like it too. Oh, cool, let's collaborate, let's do something, and let's see where it leads. You know, that's the cool thing. Like, okay, one last tidbit from me.
Yeah.
through my radio show, I found a guy in Norway, and we're now making music together. He kind of makes the music, and I sing on it, and it's cool. I just because I was out there, and he asked me, oh, I like your voice, so what's going on, and bam, and this can happen to you as well. But you need to put out something first, and this is exactly what you did, and you're not doing badly, on Spotify and these other platforms. So sorry, now I will stop talking about me.
Yeah, no, I mean that's basically what I'm doing, and because it's electronic too, it lends itself to remixes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the ones that like you have the Grendel one on your playlist.
Mm-hmm.
And funny enough, I think his guitar player, or it was the guitarist in Therion. We talked about this like last week. I thought that was funny because he saw my shirt. So again, there's a synergy, right? It's like, oh, like, 1 degree out from Therion. All right. But yeah, it's like, not only that, it's like collaboration is just a chance to, work on like a piece of thing, like, the more project based, right? For which works for me. And then it gives me the opportunity also to just define like what the sound's going to be. Like you said, like I'm kind of experimental, and I choose that. Like I could write very specific, very whatever, but I'm trying to find my own sound, like the things that I want to make that are, I'm like almost there, like I'm getting closer to it, and I'm definitely enjoying it. And one thing I wanted to say, because we were talking about the bands, I was taking piano lessons from Mike Garson, David Bowie's pianist.
Oh, wow.
And he said something to me where he's like, the genius of Bowie was that he hired the best people.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
I was like, so I'm trying to get there, the best people are expensive, or, they're very busy, and so it's like having the opportunity to work with people I like is just so nice, right? Like the collabs that I've had so far. So that's something that I'm happy about, is that I've been able to have really cool remixers, people that are working on my tracks with me. And I'm trying not to do it all myself, because I thought too that like, oh, it's so cool that I did everything myself, right? It's like, look at me, like, oh, I did everything, look. And then I realized, I'm like, that has nothing to do with like the song. Like, it's going to take me forever, to do everything myself.
That's a really good point. And I, you already were, so that's absolutely mute for you now. But for the listeners out there, it's that's something I learned too. Basically today, with the tools you have, everyone can do everything.
Everything.
But is it really worth your time? I really hate mixing and mastering. I'm really suck at it. But I can, put in 100 hours of YouTube tutorials, and then I will be better. But I know people, and this is exactly leading up to you, I know people who are much better than me, how I could ever be. So I'm going to ask them, can you do that? And I can just focus on singing, or, on the things I really like to do, and where I'm unique, and where I have we're back to your unique selling point. There is your brand thing kind of. So this is a really good point, As cool as this is, everyone can do everything. And today you just need a DAW, and, you can mix and master and whatever. But is it really worth your time to do everything on your own? Just reach out to someone who, hey, I really like your mix, and can we just work on this together? And, and this is also the fun aspect of music. You find new people, and you reached out to people. Anyway, my point for the people, for the audience out there, is kind of check out where you really are. You have your unique selling point, where you really are really good at, and you don't be everywhere. I had to learn this as well. It's kind of I'm a one-man army. You are on Instagram and wherever I kind of chose, okay, I'm only on Twitter, a little bit on Instagram, and because I cannot be everywhere, and I don't need
It's
to
so
be
hard.
everywhere. So, if you want to find me, find me. And if you don't find me, okay, well, I'm not going to die. I'm doing this for fun, and it's okay, Anyway, so different point. My point was just like, exactly, reach out to people, and like your Bowie example, he was really, I think so too, because he was always having a new sound, because he was always working with new people, with other people. So he kept himself fresh. And this is also what I hear with you, kind of, you don't want to be bogged down or kind of, oh, this is now the genre, or not with you, but I hear it mostly with death metal guys. It's kind of, this is not true death metal, so this is not.
Metal guys are the worst.
Fuck that,
like
man.
they're so stuck. But I love metal, right?
I love metal too.
It's just very rigid, like how like subgenre you get,
And this is so kind of counterintuitive, If you would have, Black Sabbath, we would play their blues rock all the time and just make it a little bit harder. So no, we shouldn't do that because it's not blues rock anymore. No way. So fuck that. I'm really annoyed by this, how you say, the blender?
Siloed or
siloed or a thing.
Like visors on, like I forget. I know what you're
blinders,
trying to say.
Blinders. It's blinders.
Blinders. That's the word. Blinders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What horses have, you're a human being. The cool thing with music is it's a green pasture, and you can run in every direction, and nothing is wrong or right. It's just you like it or you don't like it. That's the only thing that counts in the end. So, and I really hate this. No, we can only stay in this little corner, in this little. Otherwise, we are.
Otherwise, you end up getting booked in another venue.
Anyway,
we know the 5 breweries we want to play.
Exactly. It's kind of so you're limiting yourself,
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you something else, but I forgot. Anyway, it's oh yeah, one thing I'm see missing in your profile, and I'm pretty sure I know the reason for it, but I'm going to ask you anyway, is I haven't found any videos. And I know videos are expensive, and it's a new another form of presenting your music, but I'm a very visual, men are usually a visual person, and I'm a man, if you have not discovered that yet. I know, I checked. And so are there any videos coming? Are you working on something, or is it just expensive, or you don't want to do them?
Yeah, I have a 27 Club channel that has some videos.
Oh, okay, I haven't found that. Sorry.
That's probably what it is. And then I have one cursed video. I paid a guy to sync my singing with the track and to edit it, and he sent it to me, and I thought I downloaded it or added it to my drive, and I didn't, and I asked for it. He's like, "Oh, I deleted it." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
So it was never really there. I mean, he did something, and when
I saw the stuff he did, and he uploaded it to me, and like I was just busy, and I was ready to work on it. I went to download, and the link was already dead. So I got really upset about that. I'm like, okay, I'll have to revisit this one. I actually have someone working on some videos for me, and again, the ones you'll see are all ones that I've made, and there's definitely some room for some videos to be released. I totally agree. I think partially that is my just doing video work. My machine that I have is like set for music, like to do videos, like a completely different thing.
Yeah,
and I think that I just haven't.
Power for
yeah. Yeah, but there is some video. There's some more like little clippets that I've done, and those are definitely on there. There's some performance videos. But yeah, those are, I guess the channel is 27 Club, so that's probably why you didn't
Yeah,
find
that's
it.
why I haven't found it. Yeah, sorry for that.
But good, thanks for letting me know, because it's not something that I have prioritized enough, and I've been meaning to. And I definitely need to get more on the YouTube thing.
You don't have
You're the YouTube guy.
yeah, not really, but I talked with another band, and they brought they had an album out, 12 songs, and they made a video for every song, and I was like, okay, guys, it's cool, but they're very cheap. Because sometimes we're just playing around, really just dancing a little bit, and holding the camera, and not and but we said, oh no, but this is exactly the point. But we have, for every song we have a video, and we're doing quite well. Calabrese, they're called. It's we're doing like horror punk rock stuff, and it's cool stuff.
Okay, yeah.
You know them?
They sound familiar. I feel like I've heard of them.
Anyway, really nice people, and cool. Anyway, the point was, he said exactly this was the point. We wanted, because some people use just YouTube for playing music, or
Just searching,
putting things in, exactly, because it's a free alternative. I mean, you can have Spotify for free and other things, but anyway, so I got his drift, and even if they are cheaply made, they're there, and they have a lot of fun. They have a lot of fake blood and blah 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 and stuff, and so, and well, why not? So yeah, this is just, they made me think, that okay, I can put out maybe some videos also. They don't have to be too polished and too over dramatic or something. But of course, they should always be like with your music. They should be something you would want to watch, because if it's just you like singing and sitting down or something, I mean, I always like music or videos with a backstory. It can be a performance aspect, but also something. Anyway, and even if you just walk down a hall or something, with something, oh, this is mysterious or so. Anyway, just good. We cleared this up. I was looking in the wrong place. Sorry for that.
It's okay. I should probably be better about that. It was yeah, it's under 27 Club. Yeah.
Does this 27 has a special meaning, or was it just a club you were working for as you were kind of getting this name stuck to your company?
Yeah. So I OD'd at 27.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and I think I died. I came to in the hospital, and but before I did, there were like all these like rock stars like around me, like
the 27
Jimi
Club.
Hendrix, Kurt Cobain. I didn't know about 27 Club at all.
I know about the 27. Yeah, exactly. Janis Joplin and yeah. It was
and after like I kind of came to, and like I'm like rehabilitating back like to life or whatever, I'm like, why did I see these people? Like I know them. I don't listen to them, all the time. Like why were all these specific people like around me on my deathbed, or, like while I was like dying? And then I Googled it and I found 27 Club, and I was like, wow, crazy. So I just decided anything else I did moving forward would be in honor of like the 27 Club, because
but you were not 27.
Come back.
But you were not 27 back then. I mean,
I was.
Really? Oh wow! This is really. Oh man, this is quite a coincidence, you would say. Or,
yeah, it was creepy. Like it was a weird thing to go through. So yeah, so I just decided, okay, this is my company. I'm doing everything through 27 Club here on out.
Okay. While we are on this touchy subject, I mean. Yeah. Ophelia is also, to be or not to be means kind of in very nice language to die or not to die. So Ophelia kind of killed herself.
Ophelia is a crazier one. The story behind Ophelia, because I was Ophelia before the OD, and Ophelia, as a kid, I used to have this reoccurring dream of laying in the water, and like laying like in a river, to protect myself. And I went to some like little, I don't know, little swap meet or something. And someone had a picture of this woman laying in the water. And I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's my dream. And this was like pre-internet kind of time. So I always wanted to know who was this picture. They didn't know it was like a framing company. And then I kept, trying to find out who it was. And I could never figure out. And because I saw other pictures of this woman floating in the water. And I was dating some guy, and he quoted like Hamlet to me, and he called me Ophelia. And I was like, that's okay. Like I know Hamlet, but I never thought about that. And then I found out that the picture was Ophelia. There's these Ophelia paintings. I forget the names of the artists, but they're all these like women floating in water. And I was like, oh, that's it. That's my dream. That's like the dream crazy. I've always had since I was a little kid. So I was like, okay, that should probably be my name.
Okay.
And I've had it for a while. I've even thought about changing my name just because I don't like my current name. And yeah, so that's the story behind Ophelia and 27 Club. They're all rooted in kind of like experiences.
Wow, that's okay. I have a more lighter comment to this and a harder comment to that. The lighter one is I was once Ophelius, because we played Hamlet, and I was the male Ophelia, basically, Ophelius, and I killed myself very theatrically. So
Ophelius, okay.
This is the lighter comment, and the other one is so. In a way, you kind of okay. This is silly. Sorry, but I hope okay. you don't. So in a way, you were kind of rock star material already. I mean, the drugs were there, maybe also the sex and the rock and roll, and
it was a crazy night.
And I take it that you're now back on track, and that you're kind of.
Straight edge vegan?
Sobering up a little bit, because
I'm straight edge vegan. So like I'm like completely vegan. No drugs, no alcohol, like for a very long time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good for you. Keep it this way.
Yeah.
Let's maybe move on to some other subjects. The thing is, I always feel when you are a solo artist, you need to have a lot of guts, because it's not easy to, like I told you, I was an actor too, and sometimes you have to stand in front of an audience alone, and have to bear all this weight. But then you play a role, and with a solo artist, especially if you make music, I have more the feeling it's a tougher thing, because the music is more heartfelt when you're playing a role in a play, in an acting thing. Then it's something else, because you're not playing yourself, but with the music you are yourself a little bit. Of course you have maybe a show persona or something, but what I'm saying with so many words is it takes a lot of guts to get out on stage on your own with just you, because like we already established in the beginning, all the eyes will be on you, because everyone is looking, and now she slipped, and she missed a note or whatever. It's kind of everything is on you. And so how do you deal with it? And also incorporating in this question is, sometimes the problem is, as I'm pretty sure you use backing tracks, right? That things sometimes get stale if you are kind of just hit the button, and then kind of if somebody has seen your show, he has seen your show, or he or she has seen the show, because if you don't change the songs around or something, how do you keep it fresh? So first of all, where do you get the power to do it? Kind of to pump yourself up to go on stage, and how do you do it to keep it fresh for yourself and for the audience?
Yeah, so for the first one, I guess when I was at Berklee, I would fail my piano recitals like every semester because I would have like a panic attack and just cry and just like freak out. It was a huge thing. It was like most of my career at Berklee was dealing with this issue. And part of the reason is that I was like playing like, giant steps or like Rachmaninoff, and it's like a recital, right? And they know exactly how Rachmaninoff should sound and like giant steps, like what I'm doing. And totally freaked me out, was complete hell. And I was so depressed because I was paying extra for these, recitals because I was failing every year. It was like driving up the cost of my education. I felt terrible. And then I started writing my own music very formally, like in school, just because I had like a boyfriend. He was breaking my heart, right? Like typical thing, right?
Oh, these men.
Yeah, totally. I'm so unique, right? But anyways, these songs, I would practice my piano in the practice room, then I would write this music, and I would like try to play it to him, like to see if I could win his heart or something, right? Like typical shit. Hello, right? And so one year I was just completely fed up. I'm like, I'm ready to graduate, because I actually did graduate Berklee, and I was like, I'm really tired of this. So what I did was I faked these pop charts or like these songs, and I said they were like somebody else, but it was my song. And so I wrote all this music that was supposed to be somebody else's, and I got like an A+.
Wow.
I finally passed my recital. And these old jazz cats didn't know, right? They're like, oh, that was cool. I really liked like the major 7, sus 9. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And it was then that I realized I'm not a session player, right? Like I would not feel great, like being like, here's the chart, read it, do it. That terrifies me. But doing my own thing, for the first time in my life, I was able to not have stage fright. And it's because it came from like another place, like a non-judgmental place, because I wasn't supposed to just repeat this experience, right? This sound. So that's what's kind of interesting about being on stage, is that if I had to like cover something, I'd probably freak out. But because it's mine, my heart's always rushing. Like I'm the whole night, even if I'm DJing too, it's like just goes by in 5 minutes. It's the greatest thing. It's the only time I can just warp speed through time. It's very interesting. But to the same part, what I used to do was like, and I still do this to some degree, I'll like play like live drums over something. So like I have like a drum pad. I do finger drumming. I don't use drum stuff. And I'll play drums like against like what I'm doing, like for like a transition, right? Okay. And people seem to like that. And then I have like a keyboard too, so I can like play along. So there's like a little bit of instrumental stuff. But then I also realized, I was doing a lot of stuff. I had a MIDI controller. So I had, it's called Lemur, but there's also like Touch OSC. I don't know if you know those.
Okay, no, I don't know.
Basically, you can take an iOS or Android device and just like make a, touchpad, just as you would like a Kai MPC or something, but just make it digital, right? So I would program one of those and be able to trigger all my songs. So I had my phone in my hand and I could fade in and out, start the song over, play a drum thing. Like I programmed it on my phone. Okay. And I would do that. But then after the show, everyone would just be like, whoa, that was a really cool setup. How did you do that? And I just had people nerding out with me, and I felt like it was more of like a workshop. And so I quit doing it because I just wanted to be like, an artist, like not a technical person. So that's the, again, one of the solo problems. And someone even said at one of my shows, you should really get a bass player. Like you'd be great if you
I'm
just had like a bass player.
I'm a bass player.
Huh?
So
Oh, there you go. There you go.
There's an acoustic bass. The other one is in the rehearsal space. So you got me, baby.
There you go, true. And that's the thing is that, if I added one more person, who would that person be, kind of thing. And I thought about it then, because at least then we could interact with each other. But like, I just kind of like, monologue style, just try to like act out and like sing the songs or whatever, dance, so yeah.
Okay. So okay. It's actually quite interesting what you said. When you did your own stuff, you don't have so much. I think you still have a little bit of stage fright. This is before the show, if everything would work well and stuff. I mean, it's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah, always that. Yeah.
And what I wanted to add to this thing is, I have played in a lot of bands, and whenever we got somebody who's kind of coming from the music school and really learned it, I usually, not always, but usually I hated these guys because we kind of I'm like, okay, I'm the bass player. Let's just improvise something. Let's just jam a little bit. And then, can I get the notes for this, please? Can you tell me exactly what we're going to play? And I'm like, no, I cannot. I don't know. It's a cool groove. Let's just go and see where we're going, And so I hated these guys because I kind of, if I give them the sheet music, they could play it, but we could not improvise. We could not be on the spot, just do things and
two separate things
and having fun.
Two completely separate things.
They are really good at their craft, like you said. We can play maybe Rachmaninoff or whatever, but we couldn't live it. We could mechanically go through it. And at the right time, at the right setting, at the right note, at the right warmth or whatever, but we could not feel it. And for me, it became so clear. I rather have somebody, and not against you, I guess you get my point, who has no idea what he's doing, but really is feeling it, and then somebody who's really technically, but it doesn't have any soul. That's basically it, Yeah. Anyway, you seem to have soul, so.
It's a classical jazz thing too, as far as like teaching, because like I will say, like at Berklee, I didn't know anything about jazz, but like the whole abstraction of just learning parts of music, like being able just to know like 1, 4, 5, and like be able to read lead sheets, that was different for me because I grew up like in just reading, the sheet music, right? And exactly what's there is what I'm playing. And the improv was just like just such a nice change of pace.
Such a relief,
it's like, I know this chord. I know all kinds of places to play it, let me just go with it. And it frees up your mind, because if you're doing the other thing, I feel like your mind is just in memory mode, like in demo mode. Like
you cannot really enjoy it so much as well, right? I think, because it's kind of like, I never got classically trained in music. So for me, it's always fun to, look, this also goes together, because I find things that somebody else would have, this is minor, and like, but I found it. No, you didn't. Of course, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel, but it's so much more fun.
You found it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they say, this fits together and it's cool and let's see. And, and it's more the playful, the fun stuff. Music should be fun as well, and if you kind of mechanically go through and hit the right note at the right time, okay, cool, but it's not, it loses its soul sometimes. I'm not saying that, all these stage pianists and some really, we feel it and we kind of interpret Bach or Beethoven or whatever we're going to play, Rachmaninoff. it's fine, but it's not my thing because it's something we're just repeating something somebody has done, and most of the time much better than you. So why doing that? And
Much
it's also
better. Much better.
yeah, it's also it,
Much better.
it takes also away the sting of kind of living up to, I mean, like you just said, with to some expectations, of your teachers. They wanted exactly this and that, and now you're doing your own thing, and it's kind of you setting the boundaries, you setting the rules of what it is, and that's so cool. And this is, in this day and age. Sorry, I'm ranting off, but I'm
Yeah,
almost
that's
I'm
fine.
almost done. In this day and age, it's so hard to really create something absolutely new. To kind of have something that only you did. And in music,
Mhm.
it's so possible to do that. There is no right or wrong. And we're back to this, narrow-minded guys. Oh no, this is not true death metal. Blah blah blah. This is so fucking stupid. I usually try away from swearing, but yes, this is fucking stupid. Because, man, just do what you feel like, and if you like it, other people most likely will like it as well. So and if not, who cares? You like it, and it's fun, and it's your anyway. Sorry, now I'm stopping here. Um, as we are already over the 1 hour mark, and I'm usually going for an hour or something. Um, I have some kind of ending questions.
Okay.
If you're up for it,
I am up.
cool. I hope so. Um, one question is, as as you have been on stage or on the road and things, do you have some funny stories to tell of mishaps, or you didn't you missed your bus, or you kind of I don't know, the cable didn't fit and you had to improvise or something like
Mm.
this? Do you have some funny stories you want to share?
Oh my God, funny stories. Let me think. Do I have anything super funny?
It can be just
Uh,
funny. Funny would be enough. It doesn't need to be super funny, but yeah, if
Not
you.
super funny. Um, Gosh, I feel like I had so many and I can't think of any. Ask the next question because I'm gonna have to think about that because
Okay, okay.
there's obviously a lot.
The other question is, as you've been on stage a little bit. I mean, not right now. I'm getting, you're in California. Where are
Yeah,
you?
Los Angeles.
Yes. Oh, LA, cool. I know a lot of bands from LA. Actually, for some reason, there's a lot of bands I talk to. They're in LA. It's
Metal
in
bands.
metal bands, industrial bands,
Yeah.
electronic guys.
Hmm.
So there's a hub there. I should go there too. I guess it's
You should.
yeah, not right now, but uh, you know, maybe one day when I'm on tour, I'm gonna call you
Uh
up and I'll maybe get you backstage passes and stuff, little
huh. The
girl.
whiskey.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Isn't the whiskey a go-go there or something?
Whiskey, Google, yeah, and the Viper Room and all that
What
stuff. Yeah.
wasn't it this the room where the club where Lemmy hang out all the time? Wasn't it this
A
there?
Rainbow Room.
Okay, yeah. So, man, yeah, you're really in a cool spot. Um, so the other question
Hmm.
is, did you share? Oh no, I can phrase it a little bit. Have you been in a starstruck mode? That you shared the stage with somebody you really admire, or like in your collaborations, you had some cool people. Was there a starstruck moment? Let's put it this way, in your life.
Starstruck.
And you already said, so you said already one, because the David Bowie
Yeah,
a pianist.
Mike.
So this is already a starstruck moment. So you have one out already, but another one, please, maybe, if you if you can share, want to share.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else starstruck me. I guess uh there was a goth club I used to go to here in Hollywood, and a lot of people would come through. And I got to see Davey Havoc from AFI.
AFI.
AFI, do you know? It's like from like the 90s, 2000s, kind of like a punk band.
Okay.
Maybe
Sorry.
you know.
No.
But anyways, yeah, like he would dance there like in the spiral staircase, like above the DJ booth, and it was just the coolest thing. And I was like kind of starstruck by him, and I would see him at other goth clubs. But for me, when I was on stage or when I played, I don't know. I'm not too super starstruck. I did get to meet Alice Cooper.
You met him?
I met Alice Cooper.
Wow.
I ran into him at H&M on Fifth Avenue in New York. Yeah, I was going up the escalator, and it's like in the center of the department store, and you can kind of see across to the dressing rooms in the back, and there was this guy with like diamond studded jeans and his like foot up against the wall, like leaning back, and I was like, that crackhead looks like Alice Cooper. Because I was like, obviously this guy's on drugs. He's like got star-studded pants, like long hair hanging out in the dressing room at H&M. And I get all the way up to the top of the escalator, and I was like, that totally is Alice Cooper. So I come back down the escalator, I run to the back, and sure enough, it was his anniversary with his wife, and she was changing and trying on dresses, and he was like telling her what he thought. And I was like, oh my God.
That's so cool.
Can you give me some rock star wisdom? And he was like, oh yeah, like, you know, I love my wife. It's our anniversary, but the greatest thing ever was having kids. I love my kids. It's such a great thing. It's a love that you only get to experience having kids. I recommend you have kids. And I'm like, oh, I'm not having kids, but thanks. So yeah, that was kind of cool. And then I got to hang out with Al Jorgensen from Ministry outside of the Move event. Yeah,
Al Jorgensen.
It was,
Ministry is one of my greatest heroes, you know. So
yeah, it was funny. I had some guy I was like kind of seeing at the time, and I had invited him. It was this little house they rented for all this Moog stuff, and it was just to demo all this Moog stuff. I think it was during like the music conference or whatever. And outside, he's just sitting on the sidewalk, and I'm having a chat with him, and my friend rolls up and I introduce me, doesn't even know who he is. And yeah, I got to chat with him and hang out with him a bit. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, that's about it. As far as the stages I've played, nothing major. I've just played like a lot of small stuff. So nothing too super crazy. Yeah.
Okay. So, and do you have some funny stuff to share now, or is it still evading you?
Yeah, I don't know why it's evading me. Like I'm trying to think of this one time. I played this show in San Francisco. It was like it was a bat cave. It wasn't a bat cave. It was this guy that did these bat cave SF shows. It was these little goth kids in SF. And I played the show. I didn't have anywhere to stay. So like, oh, you can come stay with us. And they lived in like this communist building in the Mission of all places, where there like wasn't a lock. Like there was no key. Like it was just like kind of like a communal home. And it was like all black inside, and like it was just all these goth kids. And I just thought it was the craziest thing. There were like these communist communal living goth kids in the Mission and SF that I had no idea about. And I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know why I can't think of anything.
It's okay. You know what? We can also because my very last question kind of
Yeah.
gives us an entrance in maybe another session, who knows?
Hmm.
Um, because my very last question is, what can people, listeners in the audience, expect from you in the future? Besides some really cool videos, of course. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah.
So what's up with Ophelia in the future? So what can
Yeah.
we expect, and maybe when can we reconnect?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on a track now with someone that's going to be pretty cool. So I've got, and we might actually work on more tracks together. And I won't announce it yet because I need
Hmm.
to like confirm it because we are working on stuff. But there's this really cool dude that puts out music. And I won't plug it yet. But yeah, so there's that in the works, and then I definitely have a lot of music coming out because I'm getting better at doing it all
Hmm.
by myself. So there's a lot of stuff that I play live that I just never fully recorded.
Hmm.
So a lot of that is going to get fleshed out here soon.
Okay.
Um, and I think my next single, it's going to be called Rid.
Okay.
And I've got a music video coming for that. So
Cool. Cool.
yeah, there is a
Cool.
video. That's a full produced thing, so that should be cool. Um, and yeah, I'm going to try to get out some more DJ mixes too. I've been kind of slow at that, but I might be doing some Twitch stuff. I'm not
Hmm.
sure. That's always up in the air. Um, but that's basically what I have coming. I'm not promising too much because I'm taking my time during the pandemic just to kind of
Hmm.
set
Hmm.
my goals as I can.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. So thank you very much for your time. It was
yeah.
very, very pleasant, very interesting. I'm not afraid of a strong woman to talk to. So as you might have, yeah, I'm well house trained by my wife. No, thank you very much for your openness. I really enjoyed our talk. So let me say goodbye. Wait.